Hello, everybody, and good morning. We've got ourselves a little bit of a different episode today. First off, welcome to the garage. Nice little hangout spot. We of course got the old XJ650 here, and the Hornet as always. But we're going to be adding something new to the garage today, and I couldn't be more excited about it. So I'm not going to give out any spoilers, but it will fit in here alongside the other bikes, and I didn't pay a cent for it. I'm going to pay tax on it, but whatever. I cannot wait to show you this new bike that we're getting. So, without further ado, I'm going to be riding out, and I will pick the camera back up, start recording when we got the bike.
And here it is. This is my brand new Kawasaki Z125 2025. It's got 9 miles on the odometer, and I didn't pay a penny for it. I won it in a bike giveaway, which is, oh my goodness, it's so insane to me. I have never won anything in a giveaway before, but oh my goodness, this makes me just so thankful. We're going to be riding it from here in Centerville, Utah, down a ways back to where I live, and it's quite a ways. This is a 30-minute car ride, and that's with access to the freeway. We obviously do not have access to the freeway in this thing, unless I want to inadvertently be the cause of my own demise. And we're not going to do that today. So we're going to take surface streets back home because that's fun and that's what this can do. Tiny little key on the tiny little bike. Look at that dash. 10 miles on the odometer. It was about a mile from the dealership to get here. This bike holds 2 gallons of fuel, and it gets a minimum gas mileage of 80 miles a gallon, but depending on how you ride, that can go all the way up to 135. I'm not going to be getting 135 miles a gallon out of this thing. I weigh 180 pounds, and I kind of ride like a jackass. But no more stalling. Why don't we take this little thing out? Ooh. Yeah. Let's try to get a little bit of that exhaust note. You know, a bike like this just makes you smile. Nothing else like it in the world.
First gear. On something like this, we're going to have to rev it up a little bit to get it to want to go. Yep, here we go. Now, this motorcycle retails for $3,800 here in the United States right now. Is it worth that? I don't know. It's got very plush suspension for how tiny it is. Very grabby front brake, which is not something I'm too used to. Oh, there's a fire going on that way. We're going 30 miles an hour, and I'm already topped out in top gear. Oh my god! You can just absolutely wail on these things. And like, the streets are just like your personal racetrack. Never before has going the speed limit felt so fast. Now, I am in quite a relaxed position. I'm 6'2", and sitting back on the bench a little ways helps me tuck my feet in. Got a nice, upright, relaxed position. My arms are fully extended. Well, not fully extended, they're still bent. But it is hard to get in the habit of death gripping these bars when the entire thing weighs, you know, about as much as, like, a modern e-bike does. Now, we're going to see about visibility. As you can see, cars around here they're not always the best. And people love to drive really big cars here in Utah. These mirrors are, they leave quite a bit to be desired. And kind of lift my hand if I want to see behind me. You know, this was obviously a bike made for smaller people, but you have to appreciate that even as a 6-foot guy, I am not having trouble. You know, this bike just engages you like not a lot of bikes do, because you have to be engaged if you want to ride this thing. It's too light to rely on the bike's own momentum to keep you going. You have to very purposely be adding power and managing everything, like managing the gear you're in. I'm in 4th right now. I should probably be in 3rd. This bike is probably going to be at its happiest around the 6,000-7,000 mark. That was a cop. I wonder what they thought. This thing really does have a light clutch pull. And not that good of a rear brake lever. You know, given how snappy and responsive this front brake lever is, I would expect the rear brake to have a little more feel to it, but it just feels like you're standing on mush. Let's see if we can look at some of the options we've got here. Trip A, Trip B, odometer. What does this bottom button do? I don't know. I don't know what that bottom button does. Maybe it resets it? Got to figure out how to adjust that clock, because that clock's wrong. You know, a lot of people think that these are bikes that are only geared towards beginners, and I would have to say that that's wrong. Sure, a beginner can learn on one of these, and they're going to learn some of the best technique that you could possibly learn. Many people seem to be under the impression that the best bike to learn on is a 650 or a 500. I say no. I say learn on a 125. Why? Because the bike can't crunch for you. This bike has no creature comforts at all. No ABS, no traction control, and the power is so low that you have to develop good clutch control if you want to take this thing out. It slows down so good for what it is. It's got dual hydraulic brakes, front and rear, single piston for both. Oh. Sorry. Woohoo! I've got my visor up today, so that might be why you're hearing a little bit more wind. I hope it's not too bad. Perfect for lane splitting. Oh boy, I am absolutely hammering on this thing right now. Come on! Fuck those guys, they sold me a shitty car. We are not going on the interstate. Anything but the interstate. Getting passed by an E350. Alright, we got the visor closed now. Woohoo! Woohoo! This is technically a highway, so this is at like the very top of what this bike is capable of doing. And I know what you might be thinking. Oh, but the braking period, you don't want to go that hard on it during the braking period. Counterpoint. This is a tiny little 125, it's not really doing that much. So the piston rings are not really being asked to do that much right now. And point number 2, piston ring seating happens within the first 50 miles or so. So, and if you've noticed, I have not taken it all the way to redline for that reason. You're okay to take it through the rev range, but for that first 50 miles, you kind of want to keep it below redline if you can. And there's that other caveat, if you can. This bike, it struggles to go 60, so sometimes you do kind of need to rev it out. Even the Camry goes going faster. When we get into downtown, this is going to be a lot more of a fun bike. Going through these longer state highway sections is a little bit sus. You get the feeling that this bike wasn't really designed to do this. Hey, that's fine. I will say, you also have to keep your eye out for potholes. On a normal bike, you definitely want to keep your eye out for potholes, but usually, if it's a small enough pothole, you can kind of just skate over it, right? This will not. It's got the tiniest little pizza-sized tires that you ever did see. Woo! And it probably won't survive a pizza-sized pothole. So we're going to go down a ways, and then we're going to turn onto State Street, which, even though Salt Lake City does have a main street, State Street acts more like a main street than Main Street does. You'll see. You'll see when we get there. We're going to want to get south of Temple before we make the switch over. Otherwise, we're going to be dealing with the hills over by the avenues. And this bike will not do that good over there. We kind of want to stay on these flat city streets where it's predictable. Whee! Perfect little thing for lane filtering. We're going to turn on to South Temple. Oh, the ever so famous temple. They do Masonic rituals in there, right? Yeah, they do. Alright, we're just gonna... This is where this bike was meant to be. Welcome to downtown. Well, I guess this is the gentrified part of downtown. Part of downtown that they dress up for the Olympics and for all the Instagram posts. A lot of one-way streets. Might want to rotate these controls down a little bit to fit my proportions a little better. Woohoo! Oh, the metal train tracks. Whee! All right, on to State Street, main show. All right, dude. Downside of a small bike, the cars think that they can just go past you. Regular viewers should recognize this little crossroad right here. This is part of the morning commute that we do. But we're not going to be doing the morning commute route today because we can't. Yeah, the Harley guy waved back. That guy's transporting a bicycle on the back of his GS. Dude, that's sick. Oh. You always hate seeing a wrecked out bike. Hopefully they're rebuilding it. Should have worn a more ventilated jacket. It's getting hot. Oh, they didn't wave back. That's sad. This is so funny. I'm absolutely pinned on the throttle right now. And I'm barely going faster than the flow of traffic. Just ever so slightly. I just love that actually, like, getting in it on this thing is, you're still doing quite reasonable speeds. So we can do this cool stuff. Whee! All right. What a fun little thing. And look at this, look at this. Parked, stanced. Park it stanced. And it isn't even as wide as a parking space. It's freaking awesome. Alright. Thank you everybody for watching. We're gonna have a ton of fun on this thing. We're gonna make lots of videos about it. I hope to see you all there. Okay, I got this from Young's Power Sports of Centerville. Thank you so much, guys. Might be one of the better dealerships in my local area. Check them out if you can. All right. Thank you so much. I will see you all next time.